all these debates on health care, energy, and the economy, Congress is finally beginning to tackle something of some degree of importance. One that also matters to the President of the United States and the anchor of this newscast. College football, specifically that BCS, the Bowl Championship Series. It's how the nation's top 2 teams are picked to play for the national championship. It uses a complicated and convoluted system of polls and computer programs and a mouse that runs around in a wheel. Not really. The critics argue that this system, instead of, say, a playoff system, benefits high-profile teams in big conferences and is unfair to smaller teams in smaller conferences, therefore reducing competition and violating antitrust laws. Rick Folbaum has been looking into this. Orrin Hatch going so far as to call the BCS un-American, but we have to remember he comes from Utah.
Well, Senator Hatch says he knows that the current college football playoff system isn't fair.
Right.
He says there's also a good chance it might be against the law. He thinks that there's a reason to investigate whether the Bowl Championship Series, or BCS, violates federal antitrust laws. These are laws, as Shep says, that prohibit monopolies and unfair business practices. Senator Hatch says the current system favors larger, big-name schools over smaller ones.
And the reason I mentioned Utah is because Utah was burned, if you want to say, by the BCS this past season. Kept winning, but didn't play.
Well, Senator Hatch is the senior senator, as you said, from Utah, and the Utes were shut out of that championship contention last year, even though the team went undefeated. Hatch says that's because the school is smaller than other football powerhouses like Oklahoma, Florida, and Nebraska. The senator, in fact, put Nebraska's chancellor on the hot seat today on the Hill to say it's the whole BCS system that's unfair, right down to the fact that the selection committee is not required under the rules to see each of the teams that are technically eligible to be included.
I appreciate that may seem unfair, and it may in fact be unfair.
Well, you know it's unfair.
But the fact is that somebody, no matter what system's proposed, is going to have to pick those teams that get to play and those teams that don't.
Senator Hatch and others argue that a playoff system like those used in other sports would actually help.
Doesn't Congress really have bigger fish or more important fish to fry or grill or something here?
Bigger and more important than college football?
No, it's said to ask you that question, so I did.
This is actually very big business. ESPN just agreed to pay more than $500 million for the rights to broadcast these Bowl Championship games over the next 5 years, and no less prestigious a fan than President Obama would like to see the system change. So if his Justice Department decides to investigate this, or if Congress passes a law, Shep, there could be a change after all. We'll have to wait and see.
Could be. Hotty toddy. Thank you, sir. You can get more on this story on our website. We're all over this one. FoxNews.com/live shots. It has updates on everything from reports